After a long ride, we reached the great coast. The summer cabin the king had set up for us was along the ocean. Link pulled back on the reins and Epona came to a full stop. He helped me down, dismounted himself, and took Epona to the stable. After he returned, he picked me up into his arms and carried me over the threshold and inside. Once inside, my eyes grew big as saucers. The entire place was furnished. Candles were lit everywhere.
I mean, the candles, the music, the sexy dress. I mean, what's going on here?
And a table with a meal already prepared on it was set for two. 2 candles were lit in the center, and I wondered who could have made the food. Then I remembered that one of the sages left the reception early. The sage of water! Ruto. I looked around and saw a small letter on the table by the door. I opened it, and it was from Ruto. The letter said, Link was supposed to marry me. But I was blind to his happiness. As I watched him with you, I saw how happy he had become. Now I realized what I had done was wrong. I could not hold Link to something he would not be happy with. I hope your life together brings you both the happiness and peace you both desire. When you two have your firstborn, please come and see me. Signed, Ruto the Water Sage. I closed the letter and held it close. A tear trickled down my cheek as I thought of what Ruto had done for us. Link came up behind me and threw his arms around me. What is wrong, my love? Are you feeling awk? Link's skin seemed to glow under the candlelight and his eyes filled with love. I wiped my face and put the letter down. I'm fine. I'll be orc, I said as I softly placed my hand against his cheek and looked into his eyes. I'm glad to be here with you, I said softly. As am I. Link's smile widened and he took my hand and led me to the table. I sat down and Link pushed in my chair before seating himself. As we ate, we talked about future plans and having a family. But I could tell his mind was not on the food. I took my foot and slowly brushed it up against his leg. As I rubbed his leg with my foot, he squirmed in his chair.
Well, I don't know why, but okay.
Finally, he got up and came around behind me. He lowered his head down by my neck, and I could feel his hot breath against my cheek. I felt his lips move to my neck as he started to passionately kiss me there. As he nibbled on my neck, I let out soft moans. After a few minuets, Link took me by the hand, lifted me out of the chair, and led me to a room where a tub was filled with hot water. He pressed his lips on mine, and we kissed deeply.
He pressed his lips against mine.
As he began to remove my dress, exposing my naked body. As his hands started to caress my body, caress my breasts, I could feel myself getting hotter. I wanted him, wanted to feel him. I wanted to touch him in ways that he had never been touched. Then I felt his heart beating faster, felt his hands moving up and down my slender body. As he nibbled on my nipples, I little by little slowly started to remove his clothes, exposing his heavenly naked body. I slowly reached up and placed my hands on his bare chest. As I ran my fingertips down his chest, soft moans passed his lips. His body was so muscular, so firm, his skin silky to the touch. I ran my hand slowly down his body, first to his waist, then to his thighs, around his butt, then to the swollen organ between his legs. When I grazed my hand over the head, Link let out small cries of
pleasure.
Then I looked into his eyes. We both collapsed from exhaustion after Link delivered his second and final release. Breathing heavy, I looked deep into his sexy blue eyes. Eyes with passion in them. Then I leaned over and pressed my lips on his, tasting the sweetness of them. So firm, so sweet. Feeling a slight longing, I moved my lips to his ear and whispered words of passion to him. Oh, my goddesses. Link, I love you so much, I said, in between gasps of breath, before I slowly started to caress his long, sexy, pointed ear with my lips and tongue.
Use plenty of lip and tongue action.
And I love you too, my sweet love, Link said as he embraced me. As I nibbled on the lobe of his ear, I could hear his soft moaning, felt his hands moving down my body. I felt the heat of his body, felt his skin against mine. So hot, so heavenly. His body. Finally, for once, I felt complete. Felt like a woman. I felt sexy, wanted. We laid there, still connected and covered in sweat. I laid my head against his chest and listened to the beating of his heart. We were both exhausted and breathing heavy. Then, as my breathing started slow, I felt my eyes beginning to drift. And as I felt my last ounce of strength leave my body, I fell asleep. The next morning I woke in bed, lying on Link's chest, while he stroked my hair. We talked a while before rising and getting dressed up. After he got dressed, he went downstairs to cook breakfast, as I went to freshen up. I washed my face and hands, then I went to the wardrobe closet to select a dress. I picked out a low-cut long silk blue dress with a gold hylian symbol on the lower part of the dress. I put on my wedding ring, the bracelet Zelda gave me, and fixed my hair. Then I went downstairs. Link greeted me at the bottom, and his eyes widened as he looked me over. He took me into his arms and kissed me. "You look beautiful, my love!" His eyes seemed to flicker with passion as he held me in his arms. He knew how to make me feel good. His words soft and gentle. He was the perfect man. I walked over to the dining table and glanced over all the food Link had prepared. "I hope you're hungry, my sweet."
I'm so hungry, I could eat an octorok,
he said as I nodded yes. Link pulled out my chair. I sat down and he pushed my chair in before seating himself. While we ate, we talked about the plans for the day. Since it was a beautiful day and the area nice, I thought going horseback riding would be the thing to do. But then I remembered one thing. There was only one horse, Epona. A look of disappointment crossed my face. I had really wanted to go horseback riding. Then Link had an idea. "Epona is strong enough to hold us both. She carried us both here. You can just sit behind me and put your arms around my waist," Link said, as smile widened, and I felt better. After breakfast, Link went to saddle Epona while I did the dishes. When I finished, Link poked his head in the door and said he was ready. I removed my apron, put on my riding boots, and followed Link out the door. Epona was in front saddled and ready to go. The rusty brown mare was truly beautiful horse. I walked up to her and patted her on the head. She gently put her muzzle near my face. to show no fear. As I looked at her, she was the most beautiful horse I had ever seen. Link took my hand and helped me into the saddle. Then he mounted in front of me. I put my arms around his waist as he checked to see if I was ready, then booted Epona in the ribs, and she took off at a gallop. We rode down to the ocean along the beach.
Water!
Kicked up behind Epona's legs as we rode along the
Water's
edge. The ocean air smelled sweet, and the breeze was cool. I looked over Link's shoulder to see what lay ahead. The beach was vast and wide. Rocky cliffs lined the
water!
Further down, small caves with
Water!
flowing into them lined a small island far in the distance. Then I turned and looked over the vast ocean and saw small islands lining the horizon. This was truly a beautiful place. So peaceful, so serene, it almost made me not want to leave. Then we arrived at a small alcove.
You use this word, alcoves?
And Link stopped Epona. He dismounted, then helped me down.
This is a real beautiful spot. Let's just sit here a while,
Link said.
Why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.
As his blue eyes shone in the sunlight. After we sat down in the sand, I laid my head on Link's shoulder as he put his arm around me. I watched as distant seagulls flew over the ocean in search of food. The cool breeze blew through my hair as the salt air tingled my senses. I felt at peace here. Here there were no wolfos to chase off, no thieves, no duties, no nothing. But I knew that soon it would all be over, and we would have to return to Hyrule. Don't worry about that, I thought to myself. You're here with the man you love, your new husband. Enjoy it with him. Don't be a fool. Then I got up and ran towards the ocean, walking into the
water!
I turned and giggled at Link. Then I gestured for him to follow. Later he came to the ocean's edge, and then I splashed
water
on him. He looked at me sideways before he splashed
water
back at me. No sooner had that started, we were running around in the
water,
splashing each other and laughing like little kids. We played all day, just like we were kids again. I was having the best time of my life. When it started to get dark, we went back up to the beach and sat down in the sand to watch the sunset. I cuddled into Link's arms and laid my head against his chest as the sun's golden rays slowly started to set below the horizon. My life with Link will be a happy and special one. He is all I need. Soon we will have a family.
I will perfect my own race of people.
And my life will be truly complete. As I thought to myself, my eyes slowly drifted. And as the sun's last rays disappeared over the horizon, I closed my eyes. Back at the cottage, I was bathing while Link prepared the evening meal.
Dinner.
After a bit, Link came upstairs to check on me.
I came to see if you need any help bathing,
he asked. As I looked into his eyes, I took my hand and slowly ran it from the top of my shoulder and down over my breasts. I could use my back washed, I said seductively. Taking the hint, Link took the wash rag and began to wash my back. After a moment, he put the rag down in the water and began to passionately kiss my neck. Moaning softly, I turned my head to face him and gently pressed my lips on his, kissing him deeply. Our tongues meeting. As we kissed, I could feel his hands moving down my naked body.
Would you care for another Schnitzengruben?
No, thank you. 15 is my limit on Schnitzengruben.
Painting from the intense experience, I got up and looked into his eyes and knew what he wanted. Slowly, I removed his clothes and opened myself to him. I let him take control, allowed him to fulfill himself. Long into the night, there was nothing but hot passion. The next few days were either spent down at the beach or taking peaceful walks together. I knew we only had a small amount of time left here, but I spent every minuet enjoying it. And on the day we were returning to Hyrule, I couldn't wait to get back. Upon our arrival at the castle, the king and Princess Zelda were at the gates to greet us home. This video was made possible through the generosity of my Patreon supporters, particularly Michael Fittori and Break System BSE. If you would like to see your name up here, please consider becoming a subscriber for as little as $1 a month. Also, please check out my side channels, Mutant Museum Gift Shop, and Sherman Fangsworth. Thank you.